Hey everyone, it's Michael, and today we're going to be talking about things like Goosebumps. Today I'm going to be doing a review on another R.L. Stine story. It came out around the time Goosebumps started becoming popular. It was from another horror series, from R.L. Stine called Point Horror. This particular book is called Halloween Night. How cool is that cover? I just love that cover. It's so beautiful. Halloween Night is about 200 pages long. It's about 180 closer to that. I thought for the longest time that this is part of the Fear Street series. It's not. Point Horror came after or in the midst of Fear Street, as far as I know. I think it came before Ghost of Fear Street. I could be wrong about that as well, but I'm not really sure when it came out. But I know it was like 93 when this particular book was released. I have not read any other Point Horror books. The only one I ever knew about was when I found The Boyfriend, which is another book, at Goodwill, and I bought that immediately because it had R.L. Stine's name on it. It turns out that R.L. Stine did not write all the Point Horror books. He just worked in the midst of other authors with that series. So you might like more of those, you might not, I don't know. This is very much more in that scholastic fare. I'm not really sure what the Fear Street, the regular Fear Street, not Ghost of Fear Street. I've only read one Ghost of Fear Street book, never read the other Fear Street series at all. So I don't know if there's like cursing and gore and blood and stuff in the regular Fear Street books from the 80s and 90s, or even the newer ones. But I can tell you with this book, it's very tame for the most part. It has some surprising things in there, in my opinion, but it's not really adult, I would say. It's not even what I would really consider a young adult book. I would say, if anything, it's probably more of an upper middle grade book. You know, more like the scarier type books from Goosebumps, like Ghost Camp and like Goosebumps Wanted the Haunted Mask from the newer it's Goosebumps Wanted the Haunted Mask from the Most Wanted series. And some of the newer Goosebumps books are pretty graphic. They have some gore, they have some scarier things in them. And I would recommend this book to that audience. If you're into those books, you'll like this. Halloween Night is not spectacular. And I was really hooked into it too, because I have both books. Both books came in the mail this last month or so. And I got them from two different book lots. The second book is actually in a lot better condition. I hope to plan on reading, God willing, at some point this month and in October as well, because of course this is the first day of September. I'm trying to read Halloween books throughout this month and through October as well, and get the reviews for all the Goosebumps books that I can up to you folks. And I can tell you straightforward, I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out how to get everything together, because there's still books that I'm missing, like Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns TV book and stuff. But when it comes to Halloween Night, I was really excited for this. And I have to tell you, it did disappoint me in a lot of ways. To be 200 pages long, I didn't expect it to be a very fast move like a Goosebumps book would be, or like a Ghost of Fear Street book would be. And yet, it had a good pacing to it. It worked very well. I really enjoyed this. I would delve into it for like 40 and 50 pages at a time, which is big for me. I'm not somebody who can sit down and just burn through a book a lot of the time. So the book is very engaging. I would definitely tell you that from the get-go. For anybody who doesn't know the story of Halloween Night, I don't think many people know the story of Halloween Night. That talk about R.L. Stine and stuff in the community, that love Goosebumps and everything. I don't hear anybody talk about this. Halloween Night essentially is about a girl who is living in a house, of course, with her parents and her younger brother. And it turns out her cousin is in the midst of her parents are getting divorced. And so she comes to live with her main character cousin person named Brenda. And of course that cousin's name is Haley, by the way. The cousin that's coming to move in. Now, Haley is very untamed, very just kind of a mean-spirited person. She will go out of her way to flirt with our main character, Brenda's boyfriend, and try to kind of take him away from her. And that kind of sparks this jealousy and this envy within Brenda, and makes her kind of just despise Haley, and just make her want to go away, you know, just makes her want to get just rid of this chick. It's getting closer and closer to Halloween, and it's probably taking place in the month of October, if I had to say. There's like a dance coming up and all kinds of stuff. And she's really close with these two main friends of hers. And essentially they have a plan also, or like a particular like writing prompt they have to do at school for an English class, mainly focused around a murder mystery. And they have to plot out an actual murder. Well, it starts becoming a little bit too real, because the more things that happen to our main character and one of her friends, involving their boyfriends and this main cousin, Haley, that's acting so weird and trying to just flirt with every dude she can possibly find. She's just a really odd girl. As time gets closer and closer to Halloween, all these horrible, all these just awful, terrible things start happening to Brenda, our main character, in her room. Somebody happens to write on her wall with animal blood, "See you on Halloween," right? So there are things like that keep happening. And she's not really sure what's happening at first, but she immediately kind of suspects the one person that has not lived in this house before, her cousin Haley. And Haley's been really weird lately anyway. She's been trying to just kind of intrude on Brenda's life. Brenda doesn't really like that. And I kind of, as a child of divorce, right, I feel a little bit of sympathy towards Haley herself, because I know that in the midst of that, when you're a teen or a child, it makes you do bad things. It makes you in this mindset. People don't realize, who have not been through a divorced parent situation, people don't realize what it does to you. And it scarred me for life, and I'll still tell you, I will promise you, if you divorce and you have children or anything, it's going to scar them for the rest of their life. It's just how it is. That's what happened to me. If we're being honest, that's what happens. And I feel sympathy towards Haley, and one of the friends also that Brenda has, that also has been through a divorce. And like I said, this murder plot that they have to write for class starts becoming more and more real. Brenda starts kind of wondering if they could use this in real life to try to take out Haley, possibly. Now again, I tell you all this, and it might be a little bit too much to tell you all that. I'm not going to tell you any more about the story. Kind of just let it unfold yourself. I have to be honest with you, this book is 185 pages long, and the story probably didn't even get close to that actual premise until about halfway through. And then finally we got the actual night of Halloween that the title is based on in like the last 20 pages of the book. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was really engaged throughout the story, like I said. And the more we drew to the end, I was super excited to see what was going to happen. It did take a long time to get there. It's a very slow book. Maybe this is not going to be for the younger middle grade audience that read a lot of the other kind of Goosebumps books that are more on the comedy side and more humorous and more jokey. This is more for a little bit kind of in between the middle school grade and the actual high school young adult grade, I would say. This is for those folks who are more mature in that area, who don't mind a slower story. They get to a really crazy finale. The finale itself shocked me. I couldn't believe it. The actual party itself that takes place on Halloween night. There are things that take place there, and again, I won't spoil anything for you guys, don't worry. But it shocked me. And then we get this really dumb, just unsatisfying, in my opinion, ending and reveal plot twist thing. The first part of the plot twist I loved, and if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But then we get to the last part of the plot twist, and it's not good. It's really not good. But I will say this. Throughout the story, the plot of the murder that our main characters are working on, well, Brenda and her two friends are thinking about and talking about, it's fascinating. It genuinely is a smart idea for a murder to do in a film or otherwise. So that had me engaged of how they were going to go about this. And again, that's not a big portion of the book. A lot of this is about Haley and Brenda's relationship and how Haley has ruined so much of Brenda's life with taking away her boyfriend and everything else, and the kind of ways Haley affects people around her. She'll deliberately cause people to get in fights because of her. And Brenda can't stand it, and I can't stand it either. But at the same time, I didn't find myself hooked on somebody like Brenda as our main character. A lot of the characters in this story, and yeah, I'm judging more of the characters now because we're talking about something that's not Goosebumps. Goosebumps is meant for a younger audience, therefore I don't judge the characters too much. When we talk about something like this or like Fear Street, I'm going to delve into the characters a little bit, even though I've heard that they're all kind of the same thing amongst the series. Same thing with Point Horror, same thing with Fear Street. Apparently that's very common. But I just want to identify the fact that I don't really love any of these characters. So it's kind of this weird bittersweet feel throughout the book. I've had times throughout the week when I've been reading this that I was like, you know, I really don't want to pick that up right now. I don't really want to read that because the characters just seemed so bitter about stuff. And that's fine. I don't really have a problem with bitterness. But it was just kind of, I had to be emotionally prepared to read more of that, right? Like I had to be in the right mindset and the right time and be like, yeah, I want to sit down and read 50 pages of this. Because like I said, you get really engaged in it. You get really hooked on the story. And it was good. It was entertaining. It was fine. But fine is the word I would keep using because of the finale. Because of the weird, unsatisfying twist and reveal we got at the end of the book that really just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that. I'm just really kind of disappointed, honestly. If I had to be honest with you, I'm not super impressed with this. It's not my favorite by any means. It's not my favorite book by any means. It's not really my favorite R.L. Stine book by any means. I think he's done a lot better, and I think Goosebumps proves that. I honestly think, personally, in my opinion, I think Goosebumps will be better to me personally than Fear Street or Ghost of Fear Street or Suspicious, one of his young adult books, or his regular adult books. I don't really think R.L. Stine will ever top what he's done with Goosebumps. Ghost Riders or no Ghost Riders, it doesn't really matter to me. But I'm curious to find out more and more. So yeah, have you guys read Halloween Night? I'm sorry I had to give away so much of the story to try to make it interesting for you guys, but again, there's a lot that's not really in this story. A lot of it's kind of the building to the finale and the building to the potential possible taken care of follow-through murder that could possibly be planned. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting. Not my favorite book. Not the best R.L. Stine thing. If I had to rate Halloween Night on a 5-star basis, I would give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, it's engaging. It almost got a 4 out of 5. But I will be reading Halloween Night 2, like I said, God willing, if I have the time and if I'm alive. I will try to read Halloween Night 2 at some point during the month of September. I want to go ahead and get it done before we get to it around October time, because I have so much stuff to read between September and October doing these Halloween reviews. But we'll see. We'll see what we get on the way over there. But for now, what did you guys think about R.L. Stine's Halloween Night? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. I don't think many people on my channel who follow Goosebumps have probably read this book, but I'd still love to hear your thoughts. If you want to read the book, does the book sound appealing to you? I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you've read the book, like I said, I'm really fascinated to see what other people have to say about this book, because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of reviews on Goodreads. So I'm trying to keep up with ideas on who thinks what when it comes to this book, because it's a very interesting discussion, because I love the party scene on Halloween Night. I think it's a really good scene, for the most part, but still. What are your thoughts on Halloween Night? Put your thoughts in comments down below. Again, 3 out of 5 stars, almost a 4, but not really because of what happened. But anyway, may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.